What up, everybody? Welcome to the Bourbon, Buzzed, and Ballin podcast. We are your hosts, Kolby and Dut, and we're happy you're making it for our show tonight. We have football, and more football probably.
Yeah, that's about maybe throw in a little bit of basketball. A little talk there, but
we'll cover some topics tonight. But thanks for joining us. It's episode 28 for us.
That's right, 28.
28, rolling along. We appreciate everyone joining in, and let's break into it, man.
All right, yeah. Well, as always, we like to start our show off with the opening toast. And I didn't really, wasn't anything real exciting happening last week, so I was digging around for a toast, and I was like,
yeah, nobody real big out there, no news or nothing.
No lifelong accomplishments or anything like that.
No.
So you've been giving my boy Kayvon
the GOAT. No,
you've been giving my boy Kayvon Thibodeau hell the last 2 weeks. So I'm gonna toast Michael Strahan because he put an end to that Twitter beef. He tweeted out to Mr. Staley, "Don't go after a rookie and my kicker. I had 2.5 sacks on you your rookie year, and I was old at that point. So don't forget that. Let my young guy live." So Strahan came out to back old Kayvon Thibodeau, because once a giant, always a giant.
The old buck backing up the young buck.
Well, he's kind of a mentor to Thibodeau.
I got you. So he's just
protecting him. I had to bring that up. That's not really my toast. We all know who's getting toasted tonight. The one and only.
The GOAT.
Tom finally decided to hang it up.
We think.
Yeah, his second retirement. Gronkowski even was picking on him like that. Welcome to the two-time retirement club.
No, it was a good announcement. He alluded to the fact that you only get one to be able to cry about,
right?
And be teary, but he did get choked up there on the sand.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was I didn't really know what to expect, to be honest with you.
I think it was time. I think you don't want to go out
just struggling.
Yeah, where you just fell off the cliff.
Although he didn't play bad this year.
No, he's still. That's what I'm saying. He's still playing. I won't say at an elite level, but he's still playing at a NFL starting quarterback caliber level.
Yeah. He's still a top 10 quarterback at 45. I mean, he's still in my top 10.
Yeah, maybe in that 10 to 15 range, because you got a lot of up and coming young studs nowadays. But
I mean,
to be
still delivering the ball on time.
Yeah, and to be in the upper half of the league, at 45,
that's impressive.
That's a hell of an accomplishment.
Yeah. No, I think it's time. I'm glad. I do. I've enjoyed watching him, and I've always been a Brady fan. I never have bought into.
Did it have nothing to do with where he went to school?
Not really, I mean, it might have influenced it a little bit. It made it easier to really like him.
Well, I've never been a fan, so to speak, but I've always respected what he's done and accomplished. I mean, you're talking 23-year career.
Right.
7 Super Bowl championships, 5 of which he was the MVP, 3-time league MVP, and I think 15 Pro Bowls.
Yeah, it's the statistics. I didn't even write any statistics down.
And then I want to say he was first team All-Pro 3 times and second team 3 times. So, I mean, it just goes on and on. The list of records that he holds. I mean, he holds every passing record pretty much. Completions, attemptions, touchdowns, yards. And then, of course, you got the skeptics that argue, well, he did that over 23 years. Well,
I mean, that's another record in itself.
Yeah, to be able to maintain your body
in this day and age.
Yeah, absolutely. With the caliber of athletes that are out there trying to crush you every play.
I think the one thing that stood out to me mostly, is I've never quite understood the detractors, the haters. I get it. A lot of people hate a team that's on top.
Yeah, I mean,
they
it's
hate
just
a
natural.
coach that's on top.
If it's not your team, and they're constantly beating your team,
right?
But
if you go back through his career, and if you watch his final hurrah, you watch the players just sprinting to midfield to get a piece of him. everybody wanted a piece of him, including his own, own players, the people that, he worked beside and played against, greatest athletes in the world, in my opinion. And they just wanted a piece of him. I think that speaks a lot about Brady and the person that he was.
He's definitely
on the football field,
super
off
high,
the field.
yeah, super competitor. Like Jordan. Them two maybe more so than anybody I can think off the top of my head as far as just that competitiveness and that drive and that pushing in every play of practice. Make practice so hard the games are easy type of mentality.
Right.
So he's
going to join the Fox crew.
Yeah, but he's not going to do anything until next season.
Right.
He's not going to be a part of the Super Bowl telecast.
I look forward to hearing him.
So yeah, he's already under contract. I think it's Fox.
I think it is Fox.
But yeah, I know he's under contract to go straight to. I guess they may use him in the studio. They may use him in the booth. Maybe a little bit of he might be there. Kirk Herbstreit does a little bit of everything.
Yeah, it'd be cool to see him
for what they're paying. They better use him a lot.
Yeah, what was it, 250, 250
something
million?
like that. It was ridiculous. It was way up there. But that's the one thing about Brady is, as a player, he was always team first. He left a lot of money on the table in his football career because he didn't want to get paid that ridiculous amount of money that then they didn't have any.
Exactly.
They couldn't fill other positions.
Exactly.
So that's another quality that you have to respect of him.
There's so many more qualities. I mean, I don't want to sound like a fanboy, but golly, I mean, he's just good for the game. He was good for the game. He's a good ambassador. Mm-hmm. The players loved him. So anyway, and incidentally, did you hear about the story about the sand?
I know he did his retirement announcement on the beach.
So he does his retirement from the beach.
Yeah.
Some young lady, pretty smartly, ran out onto the beach, found where he was at,
and scooped up
the sand, and it's currently on eBay for $99,000 with like 14 bids.
No way.
Absolutely.
99,000?
99K is the last I saw. And there looked like she had...
A fool and their money are soon to be parted.
Yeah, multiple mason jars of it.
How do they know that that's legit?
She was first. So hers is legit because she actually did a video. And she did the video from where he was at. And she matched it up perfect with the backdrop. And you could see it in the sand. And then she scoops it up. Now there's a bunch of duplicates coming because there's been other people found the spot and scooped it. But she was first, and hers are. I mean, she's gonna make 6 figures on his sand. That's pretty. It's pretty amazing on her behalf. But it's stupid.
It's pretty pathetic that somebody's willing to pay
6 figures for
anything. I mean. Just because he stood on that sand or kneeled or sat or whatever.
Pretty smart, though. I got to give it to her, man. That was pretty damn ingenious.
I could see paying, $100,000 for the jersey he wore in his last game. But not the stinking sand he stood on to announce his retirement. That's crazy.
You know how bad that mason jar is going to smell, too, when you open it? Have you ever? You never see? I've scooped some Gulf Coast sand. I know that's illegal, but scooped some Gulf Coast sand.
Hypothetically,
hypothetically brought it back to some people. This was years ago when nobody had ever heard of the Gulf Coast hardly around here. Everyone went to other beaches. Man, it stank so bad. It was just really bad. Anyway, I thought that was funny.
All right. Anything else you want to mention about your man crush?
No, man. I'm gonna enjoy listening to him in the booth. It's time. He's done enough. I would love to have seen him go out with one more bowl, but it's.
Yeah, like I said, I think I said it a couple episodes ago. I wish he would have retired after that Tampa Super Bowl, and then he really would have rode off into this. But I think he would have then not had a couple of these records that he was able to accomplish. So anyway, as long as he's did it the way he wanted to do it. That's all that matters.
He seemed like he was pretty set on this one. You know, I don't think we ever felt like he was really. It was so weird last year.
Yeah.
Never felt like the end last year, but this one just felt. He looked like he had realized where he was at.
Yeah.
So,
to Tom Brady.
Yes, sir.
And the GOAT, Michael Strahan. No, seriously, to Tom Brady.
TB12.
Cheers for all you've accomplished.
Yep.
Woo. What you sipping on tonight?
I've gone against the grain a little bit.
Did you go outside the box?
I went outside the box, man. I brought in some Irish whiskey.
Okay.
Yeah, it's Tullamore Dew. It's good, man. It's a really good, smooth drinker. I got introduced to it by a friend down in Florida when I was on vacation a while back, and
we're gonna have to change the name of the show now.
No, I think we'll stick with the bourbon theme, man. I think ultimately, but I know I was just trying to branch out a little bit. But it's good. It's a good sipper, man.
A little bit lighter in color.
Yeah, it's got some good bourbon quality to it. You know, I mean, some similar bourbon quality. So
yeah.
How about you? What you got?
Well, I went with one of my favorites, but there's a reason. This is chicken cock. But the reason I went with the chicken cock is because, and help me with the name here, but PGA golfer Kevin Kisner. So he is partnered with Grain and Barrel Spirits, who owns chicken cock.
Oh, okay.
So he's going to be rocking that logo.
Oh, good for chicken cock.
Yeah, he's going to be
man.
rocking that logo on his sleeve.
We've been promoting chicken cock on this show for weeks now. So, you know, I feel like we were, you know, I watch a lot of TikToks and bourbon tastings, and we were ahead of the curve on chicken cock because there's been a lot of pretty higher up bourbon shows that have started talking about chicken cock. So that's good.
Well, you know, anytime somebody asks me for a recommendation, that's one of the first ones that I tell them. So yeah, when I saw that, and if it wasn't for Brady's retirement, Kevin would have been my toast. I actually have it kind of listed under my toast, and I knew we always talk about what we're sipping on. So I was like, well, I'll save his recognition for when we talk about what I'm sipping on. But yeah, he's a 4-time tour winner.
Yeah, he's a good player.
Currently
man.
31st. Did you say it was Kisner?
Kevin Kisner. Yeah, he's kind of a smaller dude, man.
He's gonna have to start being my favorite. Small dude.
Yeah, he cranks it out there. I've actually been right on the tee box with him.
Okay.
He cranks it out there.
Yeah. No, I thought that was kind of cool. Might have to get one of his polos with the chicken cock logo on it. So yeah, I found that interesting when I come across that article. I thought you would too. So all right.
Yeah, let's move on into the scumbag, man.
Let's go from the good to the bad. And
well, I'm gonna go ahead and just say up front, I ain't got nothing, man. I mean, I felt like there was some potentials out there, and we'll come back in around on them.
There weren't any really just super scummy ones. So you know, I was kind of the same way. You know, there's a lot of these shock jock media types right now. Your Cowherds, your Shannon Sharps, a few other the crew on Get Up on ESPN. That, you know, now that Brady's retired, they're all trying to get listeners and clickbaits, and by saying, "Oh, Brady's not the GOAT." You know, he wasn't the best regular season quarterback. That was Peyton Manning. He wasn't the best postseason quarterback. That was Joe Montana. You know, the only reason he's accomplished so much is because he played so long. And I mean, it's just, you know, they're just trying to stir the pot and get the attention on them.
Clickbait.
Excuse me. So, you know, that's a scumbag move to me, is the way that the media, they just try to get a rise out of people. They don't report the facts anymore.
No, it's
I quit. I canceled my Sirius subscription because I didn't even want to listen to that bullshit they were spewing on ESPN radio anymore. So I let it go.
Sometimes it's best, man. You know, you start listening into everybody's show. Like I'm a huge Feinbaum fan, man, but he rolls like the ocean, man. You just never know, you know. And he won at one point. He's a lapdog for Alabama and Saban, and then at the very next show, he's turned full circle
and that's I used to like to listen to Feinbaum too, but just that back and forth, and it's almost being two-faced, you know. It's not really two-faced, but it's similar to it, you know. It's like
close, man.
I'm just gonna jump on whatever side either gets me the most controversy or the most praise, you know.
Right,
it's like,
right.
I'm just going to keep changing my opinion, you know.
Yeah, based on the current event and the current, you know, the current feeling of the audience that's listening. You know, what kind of audience you want to pander to. And that's all they do. Rather than stick behind a coach in a program and defend the coach when he takes a stand. I've just never understood it. But,
right.
You know.
And then, you know, another... You know, I talked about Tom Brady being the ultimate team first guy. Well, the complete opposite of Tom Brady would be Kyrie Irving, because he is the ultimate me first player. You know, he got traded again. Well, actually, I don't think it's been made official yet, but the preliminary talk is he's been traded to the Dallas Mavericks. So he's basically, this is his fourth team. And each team he gets on, he wears out his welcome in a couple of years and then requests a trade.
Right.
And, you know, he basically turns his back on Kevin Durant, you know. It's like, let's go to New York, New York, the Nets, and
pair up with Durant.
And then let's bring in Harden, and then they ran him out of town. Let's bring in Simmons. I mean, you can't trust the guy.
No.
I mean, there's no loyalty.
I can't. You know, if you looked up the definition of locker room cancer, it's his face.
Yeah,
it's his face.
Yeah.
I mean, I honestly can't think of anybody else in every, you know, all the bad guys in sports. You know, you think about through the years, and his face, he's the poster child for locker room cancer.
But he's so talented, the teams put up with it.
No, but this day and age, to me, you know, he's not. I mean, is he that talented?
Yeah,
I mean, I know he's got handles, but...
Well, I think he's also averaging about 27 points a game.
Man, I just don't...
When he plays, I mean, if he's not
worth it, man. It's not worth it. And what is... You got Luka. Is he going to help Luka?
That's what some of them are saying. Luka's going to ask for a trade, you know, because Kyrie's going to come in there and...
I mean, Luka's a better player than Kyrie.
They're going to butt heads, and then Luka's going to want shipped out of town. And, yeah, I mean, for lack of a better term, he's very eclectic, you know, anti-Semitic. The world is flat, anti-vaccine, which, you know, that's fine if you don't want to get vaccines or anything, but you know, him trying to become the face of it, you know, nobody asked you to do that. You're supposed to be honoring your teammates and playing, and so it's just, you know, so much stuff going on with him that
I don't know. When you say the word eclectic, I think of cool. You know, eclectic to me is somebody that's kind of cool. They march to the beat of their own drum. I get what you're saying.
Like I said, that might not be the exact word. I mean, eclectic is kind of having these far off opinions and going against the masses.
Yeah, your definition's correct. I mean, I have always just felt.
Yeah, I mean, there's cool eclectic people, and then there's scumbag
eclectics.
He falls under that second category.
You're a scumbag eclectic. That's a new term.
Yeah, we'll have to change the slide.
Scumbag eclectic. What else you got?
That's well, you know, another one which we haven't even talked about. Alabama with their new hires, but Tim Brown, he's all but hurt that Alabama stole the Notre Dame offensive coordinator. So now he's called him out. Oh, he didn't. His offense was predictable.
Right.
Hell, one time I was going to go knock on the press box and take the headphones and start calling the plays myself. I mean, just
get in the game.
Go do it,
Timmy Brown. Get in the game, man.
But yeah, I mean, it's such sour grapes that. But yeah,
I saw that. I didn't. You know, I was gonna I was going to bring that up, and when we get into talking about the assistants, but yeah, that's kind of a cheap shot, at Tommy Rees.
Yeah.
He wasn't exactly dealing with a plethora of athletes.
Well, it's
on the
funny,
offensive side
and Rees is so bad that when Kelly went to LSU, he tried to take him with him.
Right.
When Saban started saying that he was interested in him, Notre Dame said, "We're going to match whatever offer," but the guy sucks.
Yeah.
Guy sucks, but everybody wants him.
Right.
so yeah, now, but basically my scumbags were Kyrie and then the media the same characters, Cowherd, Shannon Sharp, Skip Bayless, the morning crew on ESPN. All they want to do is just throw shock shit out there.
Stephen A. and Jay Will got in a big argument.
I saw that over, and I think that was over the Kyrie incident.
It was.
I didn't even, I saw the headline and I didn't even bother. I was like, I don't even care what. And actually, Jay Will, of all the morning guys, I probably have the most respect for him as far as he usually does keep it real. He's not like a Stephen A. that's a loudmouth that's trying to speak over everybody and make his agenda be the only agenda that's out there.
Yeah, they legitimately got heated in that one, but I didn't really follow up with that story either. It just happened today. So,
all right, well, let's move on and let's come in hot and just talk about whatever you feel like talking about.
Well, I guess let's make it a Bama show tonight. Mostly, I mean,
we already started talking about the OC hire.
Yeah,
Tommy Rees from Notre Dame.
What you think?
Well, it's funny because your couch potato fan, they're looking for those the names they know, and when a coach goes out and hires somebody that they're not familiar with, it's a terrible hire. And then they just look at, well, what was his stats? Oh, they only scored 31 points a game. He sucks. We need somebody, a Browse or a Riley that's scoring 45 points a game.
Right.
Well, you got to take each situation for what it is. What did he have to work with at Notre Dame? I think he was on his third-string quarterback last season.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And just like I just said earlier, an overall lack of weapons.
Yeah.
He had the
tight end,
offensive talent. He had a first-round
tight end. That was about it.
And that was it. And, he legit uses, 12 personnel a lot. So,
and that's why the offense was vanilla, because there was only one guy to go to, and they tried to go to him at every play.
Right.
If you don't have 4 or 5 guys you can spread the wealth around to.
Yeah, no, I think I think Coach Saban is maybe trying to get back to some roots, with these two choices.
Yeah, that's what it looks like.
And it feels to me like, and I'm gonna always defer to Coach Saban because he's the GOAT.
Yeah,
Who
are we to?
Who am I to second guess him for sure? I would second guess him all day long if there was reason.
How many times has he lost more than 2 games in his season at Alabama?
Exactly. So I'm thinking he's like a step ahead of things, even with the Kevin Steele hire. But back to Tommy Rees. He's very run heavy. 61% run, 39 pass. And so it kind of reminds me of that old Bama murder ball back in the 2009 through 15 age, where we were just pounding people to death, and then the game kind of changed a little bit, went quicker, went faster, spread them out.
Trent Richardson, Eddie Lacy, Derrick Henry, Josh Jacobs, Mark Ingram.
Yeah. And so we kind of, we've talked about this a lot. Like, where is the running back screen game? Mm-hmm. We used to kill people. We've won huge games off of running back screens.
Yeah. Trent Richardson, Yeldon, TJ Yeldon, Derrick Henry.
Yeah, we've, won a tremendous victories off of the running back screen game, which we've gone away from. So I kind of think this kind of brings us back. And, he's young. I like it. He's a quarterback. He's got the ability to come in and tutor our young quarterbacks.
And also what people don't realize is he's not bringing Notre Dame's offense. He's
Right.
going to still run Alabama's offense,
Exactly.
but he's going to add
He's gonna,
some of his other dynamics to
Sure.
it. So
Gonna
he's going
tweak
to
some stuff.
He's going to take the offense because Coach Saban ain't going to make those kids relearn a whole new offense.
Right.
He's going to take what he's got and he's going to tweak it and fine tune it and make it better.
That's it.
And plays that are in the playbook that Bill O'Brien never called last year, he's going to probably use a lot of those plays and get the team good at that. That's one thing, I was reading about him is every year he didn't try to fit the players to his playbook. He tweaked his playbook to fit the players.
Right, to whatever skill set.
So he's going to take, because Alabama's got a huge playbook that, a little bit of Lane Kiffin, a little bit of Sark, a little bit of Dable.
Right.
So there's a vast amount there, and he's going to find the plays that this team can execute the best, and that's what he's going to call.
Yeah, no, I like it, man. I think it's pretty unique that he went old and young. He went young on the offensive side because the offense has changed and it's always changing. But I think, he's seeing a little bit defensively. Georgia last year, they won largely off of defense.
Yeah, they're still winning basically with
not allowing people to move the ball.
The original Alabama defense, which was basically a combination of Saban, Steele, and Smart.
Yep.
And that's what he's trying to get back to.
And I think that's what brings Steele back full circle.
Yep.
And it'll be interesting because, in digging deep into this, I know there's talk about Jeremy Pruitt, that he still wants to bring Pruitt in, but there's a lot of red tape hurdles with Pruitt. But
I saw something today that said he might be open to be able to come back as an analyst after August 1st.
Right.
But then I also saw another allegation come out against Tennessee today from Pruitt's tenure there of speaking to a player. They were gauging interest between the player and Tennessee before the kid actually entered the portal. So, there's too much.
There's too much baggage with Pruitt.
Yeah, if you want to have him behind the scenes as an analyst,
I don't even
pick his brain.
I even want him
associated
sniffing around the program.
Yeah,
really,
an employee of the program. Indulge
me on this a minute. So, just a month ago, we bring in Austin Armstrong from Southern Miss, the linebacker coach for Bama, but he was DC for Southern Miss.
Yep.
Now, I've read some interesting stuff today about him that potentially he's going to be the DC in waiting. Yeah, because I'm thinking, I'll tell you a few things. So he improved Southern Miss to 38th overall nationally. That was up 18 slots from the previous year. He was second nationally in fumbles recovered on the defense, 6th nationally defensive touchdowns, and 4th nationally in red zone D, all the while at Southern Miss, where obviously there's a lot less talent there than at Alabama.
Right.
So I really like the thought process here. If I'm thinking this is what Saban's doing, is he's bringing him in, and he wasn't thinking he was quite ready yet to be the full DC. He can learn under Kevin Steele for a couple years.
It's basically the same thing he did with Kirby Smart.
Yes, exactly.
Steele was Saban's first defense coordinator, and Kirby was the linebacker coach.
Right.
That lasted 1 year.
Yep.
Then Kirby, the next year, became the defense coordinator, and I can't remember the title they gave Steele, associate head coach or something like that.
Yeah. He was a player development guy.
So I think I agree with you, and I think that's what a lot of the fans are sleeping on is Steele's not there to be the long-term answer at DC. Steele's in there to mentor Austin Armstrong, the future of Alabama could be Armstrong on the defensive side and Reese offense. You got two young that are highly thought of wizards And
Wizards in training.
yes.
Wizards in training.
Yep.
I mean, Austin, man, what he did there, and he did have a stint with UGA too.
Yeah.
He was at UGA under Kirby Smart.
And I think, we talked a lot about Schumann. And I almost think that maybe a little bit of Nick's pride might have kept that from happening. And that's where Armstrong comes in. Rather, he probably sees him as a Schumann.
Mm-hmm.
And rather than, you had to go poach a coach from Kirby, Nick's the one that likes to get poached from. He doesn't like to do the poaching.
Yeah, he likes the coaches to come from his tree.
Right.
Not vice versa.
So I think, we never heard that he even reached out to Schumann.
No, I mean, all you hear is hearsay. You know, Georgia fans think that you came in and swung 3 times and missed on Schumann, but there's nothing saying he offered Jim Leonard the job. There's nothing saying he offered Schumann the job.
Well, there's nothing that Grubb from Washington. I actually don't think there was an offer. I think Grubb wanted to completely bring his offense. And, no, Saban was bringing in an OC that's going to run Saban's offense with some tweaks, and is going to be a good play caller.
Right.
Which was one thing I don't think Bill O'Brien was. We've had that discussion. Because you got to run plays in the first quarter to set up what you're going to run in the third quarter.
I mean, I think Bill O'Brien had 12 plays in his playbook that he was comfortable calling.
6 of them were wide receiver screens.
Yeah, that he was comfortable. He had 600 plays in his book.
Exactly.
But I think he only had 10 plays highlighted, and that was pretty much
his play sheet was smaller than Leach's.
It's embarrassing, man.
But
he was a good coach.
He is a good coach.
He's a good coach.
And I think he's a better pro coach than he is.
Pete Golding is a good defensive coordinator.
Right.
But I think Pete Golding, lacked in being that. I don't know. There was something missing in our defense. We lacked that fire, that around the football, opportunistic, making
turnovers.
Our turnover margin last year was atrocious.
I think Golding was too scared to screw up. That he didn't take chances, wasn't aggressive.
He didn't want to ass chewing on the sideline.
And I don't think he was good at making adjustments on the fly.
Yeah, no, I don't think so.
So
I think Saban had to make all the adjustments at halftime for him.
Yeah,
for sure.
It's hard for the head coach to do that during the game because he's got offense and defense going on.
Special teams and managing the clock. It's a whole big deal. No, I like Golding, man. I was a little scared when he took a lateral job. I thought that might be telling in itself, but
I think that was. I think that was Nick.
Yeah, I do too now. I mean, I definitely think that was a mutual, like, hey, buddy, I don't think you're going to.
Yeah. I might be considering somebody else, so you might want to consider looking somewhere else.
Yeah. No, I like it. I mean, I think Coach Saban's I really think he's got Austin Armstrong kind of pegged as the next DC, young DC that's going to be able to come in and take the reins after maybe a year or two of some.
Well, I mean, he hired him before he hired a DC. That's how bad he wanted that young man. So that was his first hire, and I mean that speaks volumes. And I'm sure he was given some promises. I mean,
that's what I was gonna say. He had to have been told, "Hey, I think he got potential to move into the DC spot."
Position wise, he took a step back. He went from DC to just a position coach.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
But
he probably took a raise though.
Yeah. I'm sure
DC at Southern Miss.
Yeah. He probably doubled his paycheck.
Linebacker at Alabama.
Yeah, he probably doubled his paycheck, and I'm sure Nick told him that hey, come in here, learn my ways, learn the process, learn the system, and then in a year or two, I'm gonna hand you the keys to the defense.
Yeah.
So.
Well, that's what I'm living on. That's what I've reconciled myself with all these moves.
Right.
I know we were all kind of wanting some splash hires, but honestly, I really think Coach Saban's playing chess. I mean, he's making some.
He always has. He's always been one move ahead of everybody else.
Ahead, man, and I really believe that. So I'm happy. I hope the whole Bama fan base is happy with these new coaches. I know the large majority were ready for Golding and O'Brien to be gone.
And it's kind of like when you're watching the NFL draft and you got a high first-round pick and your team takes an offensive lineman. You know,
it's not sexy.
It's not sexy, but you know what? It's going to make your team better because you got to build from the inside out. But a lot of fans are like, I was wanting Joe Namath, you know, or Patrick Mahomes, whoever. But they want that flashy. But it's not always about flashy.
Yeah, no. I'm all for getting back to that grind them down, wear them out.
Probably, and probably about halfway into the season, everybody's going to be like, I told you they were going to be good coordinators. Right. That's exactly who I wanted them to hire.
Oh, yeah, there's always those. But the difference between you and me and a lot of them is we're recorded.
That's right. We got evidence.
We are recorded now, so there's evidence to
that says that we are on board with Coach Saban and these hires.
Or we are buffoons and make some serious poor calls. But so far, we've been pretty accurate on a lot of predictions.
We have. And one prediction we were accurate on was D'Amico Ryans going to the Texans, even though that's really who I wanted at Bama. But I knew that was never happening. I knew that was zero chance that happening.
That was pie in the sky for sure. Now, D'Amico at head coach, you know, if Coach Saban steps down, might have been a pretty good idea, but I think he's an NFL guy.
I just hope the Texans don't do him like they've done their last 2 or 3 coaches. You know,
O'Brien was a GM and the head coach.
I'm talking about Lovie Smith, and I'm talking about who was the other guy before Lovie. But the last 2 after O'Brien, they each got 1 year apiece, and that was it. And they're not ready to win right now. So you got to give D'Amico and his staff time to develop some players. They've got some high picks, and
they got to hit a home run in the draft for sure. I mean, I don't think Davis Mills is definitely the guy for them.
Right.
I think they got to hit a home run on the draft's going to be interesting. You know, I guess since we're moving into the NFL, the draft's going to be interesting this year. I mean, I think there's going to be a lot of movement in the first 5 to 7 picks. It's going to be very unpredictable. That's my prediction, is it's going to be more unpredictable this year than it has been with trades. I think it's going to be multiple movement.
Yeah, could be. I mean,
quarterbacks, man.
You know, the Bears are sitting pretty with that number 1 overall and don't need a quarterback.
And don't need a quarterback.
So they're just going to be – that phone's going to be ringing off the hook, and they're going –
They got their choice. They're going to have their choice, and I hope – they got a new president, and so the question is are they going to hit home runs on their picks?
Of course, there's some good defensive talent that I wouldn't want to move too far back if I'm them.
But yeah, so D'Amico, I think he's going to be a good one. I'm hoping he's going to be a great one because I'm so tired of hearing, offensive-minded head coaches. Well, here's a defensive-minded head coach that is hopefully gonna be good, and I really think Houston's got the draft cap to actually be good quicker than expected, like the Jags.
If the owner will,
not be a Jerry Jones.
Yeah, he needs to sit back and let the people he's hired do their job and be patient. You got to be patient.
What about Sean Payton? You think he's gonna be a quarterback whisper to Russell Wilson?
Well, I mean, he's similar to Breeze, in their stature and kind of their game, the quick passes, and I could see him, getting the most getting the most out of Russell.
I mean, he truly falls into the category of offensive genius.
Right.
So yeah, I think obviously that's a good hire.
I think it's a great hire for Russell.
Yeah.
I think Russell hit a home run on them bringing in Sean Payton, because if anybody's going to get him back to that elite level that he was at, it'll be Sean Payton.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was definitely a good fit. I I don't know about what they had to give up to get him. But so basically they traded Bradley Chubb to the Dolphins for that first round pick, and then they traded that first round pick for Sean Payton, and I think maybe even a fourth or something like that. But essentially, I guess they traded Bradley Chubb for Sean Payton.
Right.
So, which is not terrible, but I mean,
no, I mean, I kind of, I think we had this discussion on Chubb. I mean, I didn't see Chubb as being totally elite.
Mm-hmm.
So, I think it's a good. I mean, I can't imagine trading for a draft pick for a coach.
Yeah, I think that's the part
seems weird to me.
That's the part that is hard for me to wrap my head around. Is there's so many other candidates out there, and it's only happened 3 or 4 times. I think Belichick was traded for picks.
With the Jets back to the Patriots.
Yeah,
that one day contract.
I can't remember who the other one was, but anyway, that's weird. It's just kind of weird trading a draft pick for a coach, but.
And Arizona still doesn't have a coach.
Now Arizona and Indy, and the funny thing is, the Giants had one good year, and their defense coordinator is a finalist for the Colts job, and their offensive coordinator is a finalist for the Cardinals job. They may lose both. They may have to do like Saban and hire a new OC and DC after just 1 year, which would kind of suck because they need to build and get some consistency, and so the Giants fan in me is hoping they don't get the jobs, but of course you also want what's best for them in their careers. Of course, it doesn't surprise me that Wink Martindale's getting interviews, but Kafka, that was his first year as an OC.
Yeah,
because he was a QB's coach in Kansas City.
Right, he's risen through the ranks very quickly.
Very quickly, so that kind of surprises me.
Wink's an old head.
Yeah, Wink's been around long, and he's from he's used to that AFC. So many years at the Ravens.
Right.
So I could see, of course, who knows what Irsay, what he's going to do anyway. I did read today that they don't think that he's going to bring Saturday back, but you never know with him.
No, that was definitely a twist, a plot twist for sure.
All right, well, let's wrap up this portion of the episode with I think you gave your Super Bowl prediction last week, but you sticking with that?
Yeah, I'm not changing anything, man. I think the keys still comes down to Mahomes' ankle. I haven't really looked at an update on some of the other Chiefs injuries. I know
they're hurting at wide receiver.
Yeah, I know at wide out they're hurting, and Snead at DB I think is out.
I think the Eagles are pretty healthy.
Yeah,
I think the only one that was questionable was Landon Dickerson.
And he's playing.
Yeah. So I think the Eagles are healthy. They're on a roll. They're going to be hard to beat.
Yeah. No, Mecole Hardman I think is officially out.
And we looked earlier, and what was the line? 50.5?
Well, no, the line was 1.5.
The over-under. The line was 1.5. The over-under was like 50.5.
50.5.
So they're expecting a close game, and I would say 50.5 between those two teams. I would almost call that low scoring.
That is low scoring.
I
picked Philly 31 over KC at 20.
Right, which is 51 points, 51. But that's still holding KC to 20 points. That'll be a challenge. Yeah, and I think
right.
if KC can't score in the 30s, they're done. Because I don't think they'll keep Philly out of the 30s.
They're going to struggle to slow Philly down.
Yeah.
Because Philly can run, the ball, and
Philly can do whatever your weakness is. They can exploit it.
Yeah.
Because they can be a running team, they can be a passing team, they can be an RPO team,
and they got the coaching staff to exploit it. They got a really good coaching staff. So, I know there's a lot of money being laid on the Chiefs to cover, or to win outright.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't see it, man. I feel like, again, I'm gonna stick to my guns. I feel like in the end, it's going to be somewhat of a close game, and KC's never going to really be out of it. But when the game is over, you're going to be like, well, Philly was always in control. I don't think they were ever scared.
Right.
It's going to be one of them games to me. That's how I see it playing out.
All right. Give us a prop bet. What player scores the first touchdown? Who you going with?
Travis Kelce.
Kelce?
Kelce scores the opening drive, man.
I might have to go with the Reaper.
The Reaper?
I might have to go with Slim.
All right. Well,
I'm gonna be at a casino this weekend. I might just have to put that bet down. Put a little money on it.
No, I'm going Kelce, man.
That's a safe pick.
I say the Chiefs jump out 7-0.
That's a safe pick.
And then it's Eagles from there.
Okay.
So you think Slim?
Yeah, I might have to go with
Devontae gonna score first. You'll get a better payout on Devontae.
Oh yeah. Kelce probably is one of the highest, lowest odds as far as payout.
Yeah, exactly. That or the kicker.
Yeah, the last time I did that, I haven't done that prop bet very often. But the last time, I want to say I put it on a tight end. I think I put it on O.J. Howard, and it was Cameron Brate.
Oh.
So I had the position right, but I had the wrong player.
I got you.
So that means A.J. Brown's going to score the first touchdown.
A.J. Brown.
All right, well, I got us a good one tonight. Got the Colonel Taylor over there.
I know, Colonel Taylor.
So that'd be a first for both of us, I think.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's a definitely high.
That's a unicorn. That's a unicorn around here.
Yeah, it's a definitely allocated bourbon. You can't really find it in North Carolina.
Right.
So
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, and just about anybody from East Coast, West Coast, Colonel Taylor's always high on the list. So
yep.
It ought to be a good one.
Yeah, so let's go over there and taste that, and then we'll rate that shit. See you at the bar.
Cheers.
Cheers.